crazy, right? Because hey, you do another thing in life. Yeah. What's the fun if only one person make it? Isn't it funner to have friends and partners around at that same level so we can enjoy all the stuff we accomplish together? That's the most important thing. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sounds good. Hi everyone, Meral here with Disen Cai Real Estate Group. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm from Turkey. I grew up in Istanbul, one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world. I used to teach English as a second language in Turkey. Then I moved to the States. I've been in the Bay Area for over 5 years now. My family owns local businesses in San Carlos. I decided to get into real estate because I was always interested in creating a passive income for myself and my family. I started learning more and more about real estate. Then I met my team leader, Disen Cai, at one of the events, and I was very inspired by his story. I joined his team. And here we are today. I have actually Disen with me today, so we can ask him a few questions to give us advice and tips on real estate, how to invest, or tips to new agents. Hi Disen, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Meral.
So can you please tell us a little bit about your story, how you started your business? How did you become one of the top agents in the country? I know the team is producing close to 200 million a year in sales value. How did that happen? How did you make that?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking. I started as a solo agent. I got my license in 2013. Don't know what to do in this business. All I know is that it's a sales job. I have no idea what to do in the first few months of the business. Kind of just really try to get my feet wet, per se. And I have no connections either. You know, a lot of the agents come into the business with some kind of book of business, like a sphere, right? Friends, family that's locally that might be able to give them some business. I started with nothing. After high school here in the Bay Area, I went back to China for college. And I was there for about 4 years doing getting my bachelor degrees and working another 4 years, a total of 8 years. So when I came back in 2012, all I remember, I had to get a new phone. I have no contacts. I have my mom, my stepdad, I have Nathan's number, my cameraman here today. Thank you, Nathan, by the way. So, you know, I have no contacts. So I didn't really know how to get started. And I went to interview multiple brokerages, and Keller Williams actually stood out. And the funny reason is why it really stood out to me is because I have a really good friend that used to work in Keller Williams. And he offered to help me to get started in this business. Also, the funny thing is, after I joined, 2 weeks later, he decided to leave the brokerage, the Keller Williams brokerage, and go somewhere else. That was a shocking thing to me because I actually came to the brokerage because of him. But overall speaking, I was very lucky. So that got me started because they had all the trainings, how to become an agent, all the basics. And the agents are very, very helpful in the office. They were very kind and very patient with me, helping me along the way, giving me open house opportunities and stuff like that. So I was doing about solo agent for about 3 years. And then after 3 years, I was ranked at a certain point, like number 8 in the entire country for the Keller Williams Realty, which is the biggest in the country out of 180 associates. I was ranked number 8 at the time for sales volume. At that moment, I decided, oh my God, I have no life. Every weekend, I'm doing open houses. During Monday to Friday, I'm working with door knocking, I'm calling people, I'm just going on appointments. And there's so much business I'm losing, opportunities, because my cup was so full at the time. Because I was with a very good brokerage, and they have teachings and trainings on how to open a team. How do you operate in this business, not as a solo agent, but as a group. So I took the pill and went down that rabbit hole. From there, I started to have my first assistant, my second assistant, my third assistant. Of course, with the first one and second one gone, because I don't know better. I was really failing and making a lot of mistakes. And I had my first buyer agent, that partner agent that joined me, started to handle some of the business that I cannot handle because I was so busy. From that point on, I grew from 1 buyer agent to 2 agents, 3 agents, 4 agents. to now. This is the 7th year in the business. We're ranked number 15 in the entire country throughout all brokerages at the same kind of level team.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for this story, Disen.
Thanks for asking.
Everything you talked about, your friend left, you were dealing with, it must be very complicated. You're getting into a new business, you don't know anybody. Your friend, he's told you he was gonna teach you everything and he just left.
Right.
So, how you felt at that moment?
I'm gonna tell you one thing, Mara, that's a really good question. If there's a time machine and I can go back and do everything over again, my answer is I don't want to get into a time machine. I don't want to do it again. It's difficult. It's very difficult. I mean, starting a new business, especially in this kind of business where there's no salary, being an agent, and everything we do is up to us, right? There's no, say, a book that you can instruction, you just follow and do the thing. You know, if I will never want to repeat what I did for the first 3 to 4 years of my business. You know the dropout rate for the national real estate agent in the country, they do a study. It's about 80 to 85% of the agents, licensees, coming to the business in about 2 to 3 years. 85% of them, correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere around there, they dropped out. So I feel like the consistency is very important. I think also it had to do with drive and motivation. For me at the time, because I was at I have nothing. Some say I'm not even at zero, I'm negative at the time. And you know, it's a little personal, but I can share with you. Girlfriend not willing to introduce me to her parents.
Wow.
Right? Because, you know, I get it. Small things like that really resonated with me. And what's better? To keep hurting or to actually put the action and having the possibility to come out from that. So things like that really kept me going.
To keep hurting or to door knocking?
Yeah, so choose one, right?
Is there steps? How do you learn that book of the steps?
Well, that's a really good question. So basically what you're asking is, where do you get the guidance?
Exactly.
Right? How do you do this in this business, which is very independent, right? There's no structure per se. Imagine if we're in a situation where professional mountain climbers, your goal or my goal is to climb Mount Everest and do, you know, buy a plane ticket, find out what I need to do to even climb the mountain, get to the base camp. What's another important factor? It's hiring a Sherpa. What's a Sherpa? It's a guide that will guide us through the path to the peak. Once you have a guide, they know which route can get us to the top. Of course, we don't need a guide. We can do this on our own. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be zigzagging and try to find a way and get lost. At a certain point, make a mistake, have to turn back and go back up. Realistically speaking, we might die on the mountain, right? So having a Sherpa, at least they've been there multiple times and they have a path already. They know what to do. So it's important to find a mentor or a business coach, which there's a lot of organizations, or find a mentor in your sphere, in your office, or just find an agent that's, you know, you want to model after them. My business really took off in the 3rd year of my business, and the main reason, the sole reason that got everything started was I hired my first business coach. To this point, all these years, I have different coaches throughout the way. I still have a coach.
So you recommend hiring a coach to new beginners?
Coaching, I think it's not even to the new beginners, especially to starters, new agents. But for any level of how many years you've been in business, one-on-one coaching is always going to give you value. And of course, if you're a senior agent, you're not going to hire an agent, a coach that teaches, specializes in new agents. You're hiring someone that's, again, been to where you want to go.
Okay.
Right. That's very important.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I'm adding something here. Do you recommend joining a team for the people who are just starting?
That's also, I think it's 2 ways you can do this. And I remember when we first chat, I also gave you the option too. You know, there's always pros and cons in being a solo agent or joining a team. It's all about what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. For me, I was determined to just do my own thing from the beginning. Looking at it now, having a team, having you on the team, having other partners on the team, I think it's the benefit of joining a team is amazing. Of course, you have to join the right team. And man, think about this. I started on the way bottom as a new agent, I have nothing. Now I have got to a certain level, anybody that's joining my team right now, you're not starting from the bottom. You're starting from what I have built already. That's amazing.
That is
The
very
resources, the credibility, everything's there. So that's all the positive things of joining a team. If you want to put anything negative on joining a team, I think if you are a very independent-minded person and you always wanted to be your own boss and just do your own thing and create everything, then I think the better choice is maybe just go solo and becoming a solo agent and learn on the way and build to where you want to go and so on and so on.
Thank you for that, Disen. Thank you for that.
Of course, yes.
Another question I have for you. Why should people choose Disen Cai Real Estate Group for their real estate needs?
There's so many things I can say. And for example, we'll do this for the client. We have this kind of marketing. There's so many things I can talk about, but I think a lot of it it's fluff, I call it. I'm just going to be very real. I'm going to give you an example. We're in a beautiful house. This is probably one of the most beautiful homes in this zip code, and I have never seen anything like this. This client, I had multiple deals, transactions with. Actually, in fact, this client right now is one of my first clients that I first met through an open house. So I was a brand new agent. I was doing an open house. It's not even my listing. There's a work site right next to the listing I'm doing the open house in. The developer next door decided to come in. It's really, hey, how are you? Enter the site. Oh my God. I talked to this neighbor. They might have something else. I got the interest. And the week following, I was really calling him and just really tracking him and trying to push properties to him. And after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of showing homes, we saw a home that he liked. When we were walking through the house, he was really happy because I was able to, because I grew up in this area, I was able to tell him a lot about the neighborhood, what kind of neighbors are living here, what kind of houses, other prices are selling in the neighborhood, potential if you put some money into it. And after all that, he was really happy and he looked at me and said, Disen, I like this house, let's move forward. At that time, I was so excited. And he looked at me, he says, Disen, I like you as a person, as a hardworking young person, but I'm working with one of the top agents in the area. I don't want to say the name, but it was a huge agent. It was kind of like a god-like figure for a new agent. That was a hit to me. But something happened to me at that moment. I just looked in the eye and just straight, it felt like forever, but it was maybe a second, right? I looked in his eyes, I asked him, hey, what did it take for me to get your business? It was so sincere, and I'm pretty sure that he felt the fire behind everything. And he looked at me back and he says, you know what? Okay. So from that moment on to now, we've probably done about 8, 9 houses together. We really look at the individual and really discover and really help them to discover what are they really looking for and what is a real estate goal. And with that said, we put everything we know, all the resources we have to come out with options, plans, just strategies to really help our clients to accomplish their own real estate goals. Building that trust is that when clients work with a team, they know that working with you, working with the other partners, they know that we are looking at them as our VIP. I remember one person told me, rather to lose the business and keep the relationship. And that's really the mantra of our business. And for anyone that comes to us, we'll do everything we can.
That's great, thank you. And lastly, I have the last question for you. What can you advise to new agents like myself, just starting this business?
Wow, there's so many things I can answer about that. I train agents as well now, and I've trained multiple agents that they're doing very well right now. It's very fundamental, which is hard working and dedication and consistency. Those things need to be there. If you're someone that you truly feel you cannot commit to these 3 things I just mentioned, probably this is not the right business for you. At least you won't get so far. So you gotta have that hard work, consistency, all that stuff, right? Besides that, I will tell you, this is a relationship. Coming back to the story I just told you, it's really cherishing any opportunity you get to meet with a potential client, a human-to-human factor there. Instead of looking at it as a business transaction, it's really like, how can I help this person? And over time, everything will happen. when as agents, we have to make a lot of choices. Of course, the selfish way, we'll always think about it. Like, there's gotta be a way that will benefit us the most as agents. And a lot of times, our clients or the other parties, they won't really know what we choose, right? So that's the moment you come down to. You'll always choose the option that will benefit the relationship versus everything else. Always, always, always take the high road in life. Because over time, magic will happen. So be patient and make the right choice and do the right thing.
Thank you. It's been a great talk. I appreciate all the advice you give us, and your story is very inspiring for new agents as myself. So thank you for that again. Thank you everybody for watching. This is Meral with Disen Cai Real Estate Group with Keller Williams Realty. We'll see you at the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.